The Flame of Love of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, the Spiritual Diary, Chapter 4, Episode 55. I took your soul. January 28th, 1964. What I write now happened some days ago. It pained me so much to write it down because I hardly succeed in understanding what he said. Jesus said, "Do not try to understand. What good does it do? You cannot understand the long road that you had to travel for your soul to be lifted to these heights. All the astronomers in the world cannot describe the road that you have traveled in such a short time. Even the saints and the angels of heaven are in admiration. Can you understand how easy it is for me to bring this about? I snatched you with my love so that you fly straight like an arrow to me. I repeat, straight like an arrow. This is the road of love, which has no detour and does not calculate. Because you accepted this love I offered you and held on to it with all your strength, you are now here with me. Do not wonder for one moment about how I respond to your love, because you understand the sacrifice offered by my love. My graces act in your soul with no obstacle. If I lift you to myself, do not even reflect on it. Take it as my gift. Do not try to understand. At any rate, it pleases me greatly that you be immersed in your misery. Even this you cannot attribute to yourself, because it is a fruit of the extraordinary graces that I offered you. And as you cannot understand with your intelligence what happens during this separation with earth that occurs during the ecstasy, in such way you will neither be able to account for nor provide an explanation concerning the abundance of graces received. That will leave a great many dumbfounded. Because I took your soul in hand, you are the exclusive work of my hands. I prepared your soul, and all praise belongs to me. Furthermore, I did not give you a spiritual director because I wanted to personally train you for your great destiny. As for allowing you to fall many times, that was required of you by myself in order to thus temper your soul for this great humility, without which I would not have succeeded with you. Even today I guide you. This naturally does not mean that the words of your spiritual director do not come from me. On the contrary, and I say this strongly, accept all his directions and do only what he says. His word is my word. He receives all that he says from my inspiration. Oh, if only each soul understood that and conformed itself to it humbly and obediently. God's Unfathomable Providence, January 29th, 1964. A few days ago, the sister assigned to me wanted me to ask the Blessed Virgin if some sister who was very ill was going to die. Her eventual death would prevent the progress of various difficult matters. I told the sister that I was not accustomed to ask the Blessed Virgin in matters of that nature. The Blessed Virgin did not answer my question, that I asked only at sister's request and against my will. Some days later, when I was not even thinking about this, the Lord Jesus surprised me and said, "Why does your sister companion want to know matters that do not concern you? Who I call and when I call him, that that is my business. In any case, I arrange everything for your good. My divine providence works hard with diligence and without any interruption for the good of all humanity. As to those who are mine, it is even more pronounced, and I frequently show it by very delicate manifestations of my love, but not to satisfy your curiosity or to calm your immediate concerns. In any case, my providence remains unfathomable to you. Trust. Bring me all that is difficult and obscure, and I will ease your burden and enlighten it every day. The Few Workers. February 8th, 1964, First Saturday. Jesus said, "Look around and check. Who is gathering with me?" What he taught me during my work is interesting. He showed me a very strange surface which was rotating, and irrespective of where I looked, I could only see this surface. I saw countless souls in expanses impossible to take in at a single glance. Those souls were suffering in body and soul. The Lord Jesus pointed out, "I am showing you this so you see how abundant the harvest is. You, my beloved, you, my great collaborator, may our hands gather in unity. Continue working for the salvation of souls. This vision that I laid before your eyes shows you who is gathering with me. Do you see how great is the harvest and how scarce are the workers? This shows you why you must dedicate all your strength to your mission. Isn't it that you now feel an acute pain in your soul? Accept it wholeheartedly. For a time, this pain will remove the exhausting afflictions from the devil, which I could see were wearing you down. Gather with me, Elizabeth. I have few laborers, despite the great rewards I keep offering. Those volunteering their services are few. Be my good worker. Go beyond what is asked." A Transparent Soul, February 12th, 1964. The day before, I went to the sanctuary of pilgrimage, Maria Ramete. I was very moved by the splendor of the newly painted church. The following day he said, "Did you delight in seeing my house? You have seen how it can be covered with one glance. May your soul also be simple, and may it contain nothing but myself." We gained new strength. February 13th, 1964. The following happened last week, but it is difficult for me to write it down. I resolved that I would apply myself this year and not allow the Lord's words to be unwritten. But there are times when I think that the Lord Jesus said that just for me, and he would say something else for others. Yet he insisted that I write down his words, because through me he distributes his graces to others, but also for me to be his collaborator in that too. I acknowledge that because of lack of schooling, I lack both an ease in writing and an ability to spell. Therefore, it is difficult to put everything into writing. I keep many things in my memory for myself. However, since the beginning of this year, I try hard to write down everything. The following short conversation took place last Thursday. The day before, I had pain in my ear and throat, accompanied by a fever. I could take no solid food, and precisely on Thursday, I observed a day of strict fast, only bread and water. When the Lord Jesus saw my painful efforts, he said, "Since the two of us have been so exhausted, let us eat something hot." I prepared some hot soup and felt much better. While I was eating, he praised me using few words, but much feeling. Jesus said, "Is it not true that we now have both gained new strength? I also suffer with you. Could you imagine that I would leave you alone? No, I would never do that. Our souls are always in harmony. I expand your heart." February 14th, 1964. Jesus said, "I expand your heart by the fire of my divine love, so I can place in it an even greater abundance of graces." Heat expands iron, and the more it becomes incandescent, the more easily it can be shaped and expanded. Since you also worked in this field, you understand that, do you not? That is why I say, the more you are close to the ardent love of my divinity, the more easily I shape and expand your heart according to my divine pleasure.